Hi students, last day we had studied a very beautiful lesson. We are the music makers, and we realized one thing, that life is a sweet music. Now let's move to the paper 1, that is direct composition, direct writing. We had already familiar with the film review, book review, etc. Today we are moving to our report writing. That is the most important thing, and you know that this is the second question of your question paper, and it carries 20 marks. So what is a report writing? A report writing, what is a report? You have to know about what is a report. A report is a factual and objective account. A report is a factual and objective account of some event or incident. It is generally about such incidents or events as are of general interest to the general public. It is based purely on two things. Do you know what are the two things? It is based purely on facts and figures. And at the same time, it can be called an analytical analysis of an incident. By the way, a good report, so you need to write a very good report, so that you have to know certain things. It is always based on the first-hand information. So a good report is always based on what? First-hand information. It should be written in a direct, straightforward manner. It should be written in a direct and a straightforward manner, and there is no need to give elaborative write-ups. That means long explanation or discussion of any that kind. And you know there are different types of reports. The reports of the events, functions, and accidents. So reports meant for different purposes, such as report to be published in the school magazine or in a newspaper. By the way, we came across the newspaper, and we are familiar with the reports in the newspaper. So a report should contain some of the essential things. Let's see what are the essential things that we have to follow. And if it is an event, the report of an event or function, the first thing is that you have to name the event. So that is the first and the foremost thing that you have to remember. You have to include the name of the event, and the students are expected to write down all these things in your notebook. And secondly, the situation or the occasion. What is the situation? What is the occasion of the event? And for any event, we will invite so many dignitaries, and you have to write down the name of the chief guest or the name of the person presiding over the function. And another important thing is that the time, date, and place are mandatory. And by the way, we will have a very fine speech by the dignitaries. So the quintessence of the chief guest speech should be included in your write-up. And you have to give a very dignified description of the event or the function. And if there is something specific about the event, you have to mention that. And also you have to speak about the prize distribution, and also any other ceremonies performed by the chief guest. So any meeting, there are different ceremonies, and the one personage is expected to do the one thing and the other is another thing. So you have to write down very clearly what all things they had done. So thanks by one of the organizers, that's mandatory, thanksgiving. And also at the very end, you have to give your own analytical comment. That everything is described in the board itself. So once again I will repeat, the name of the event. Then second is the name of the event means if it is an annual function, you can write Excellencia 2020. Then the situation or the occasion, that means if it is annual day, Onam, Christmas celebration, you have to write the occasion. And the name of the dignitaries. For every event we will have so many dignitaries. You have to mention one by one. The time, date and venue. And also the quintessence of the speech presented by the dignitary is you have to write down in a book and you have to enter in your write-up. And description of the event as a whole. And anything specific you need to highlight, that also include. And about the prize distribution, Thanksgiving and your own analytical comment. Now let's move to the accidents. So for the case of accidents, it's totally different. The cause of the accident is very important. First of all, you have to write in your report, you have to enter the cause of the accident. And secondly, the place of the accident, that is where, then the exact approximate time, that is when, and how, the reason, and also the vehicles involved in the incident, and the rescue and relief operation, then casualties, the persons injured, the first aid, inquiry by the government. See, while writing a report of an accident, so that is a common question for your examination. First, you have to write down what is the cause of the accident. You have to write down the cause of the accident and where, the exact place you have to mention in your write-up. And the approximate timing, that is when. You ask these questions to the, so where, when, then how. How means what is the reason, and what are the name of the vehicles involved in the accident, and also the rescue and relief operators on the spot, then casualties if any, and also the name of the persons or the number of the persons injured, and the first aid given by, and also the inquiry by the government. And also you can include that if the inquiry, announcement by the government about, sometimes the government may announce about certain grants to the next kin of the killed and the injured. So the analytical comments by the writer, and also the analytical comments by the writer is also expected to include. Before preparing the report, the following points should be kept in mind. What are the certain points to be kept in mind? The first is, a report should convey only necessary information in a clear and precise manner. Very most important thing, that is, the first thing is that a report should convey necessary information only in a clear and precise manner. Secondly, a heading should be provided to the report. So we have to give a heading to the report. So thirdly, the details in the report should be very authentic. The details should be very authentic. That is very compulsory. And another thing is that you are expected to arrange the points in systematically in small paragraphs. Systematic presentation is very compulsory. And the source of information gathered should be mentioned. You have to mention the source of information. And here also you have to write your personal comments, your suggestions, and your appeal. Everything you have to include. And also the date of the reporting event is mandatory. And the language should be very appropriate, simple and lucid. And the tense used, that is very important. You are expected to remember, you are always expected to write in past tense. The tense is past tense. So we had seen the events and functions, accidents, and I think that you are thorough with the report writing right now. And if it is a scientific achievement or experiment, what all things you do, so it's very easy for you. you ask if it is a scientific achievements or experiments. The first thing is that you ask who, first question. That means who is the person or persons. And the second thing is that you have to highlight the state, the city, the place of the man belong. And the third thing is that he won a creditable record. For what? For what he won. So that is the third question. Then you ask another question, when, the exact time, everything. And the next step is you have to understand the nature of achievement. In which field? In science, in geography, in history, in which field he won credit to the nation. And also you have to go through his results and also the nature of his credits. And after all, you have to write a comment about the whole thing. Now, I'm going to give you an assignment. All the students are expected to do the work properly. So, write down the so you have to enter the question. As a reporter, you have visited a number of hospitals in your city. Write a newspaper report. Write a newspaper report in not more than 300 words entitled City Hospitals based on the following points. Building and infrastructure, maintenance of the hospital, quality of services, nursing staff, doctors, waiting period for treatment, emergency facilities, other medical aids available, So here is a question. You are expected to go through the question thoroughly and write the report very beautifully. And we had already studied how to present a fine report. You have to go strictly follow the rules that I had given to you, and you are expected to prepare your own notes. And by the way, thank you all.